Good morning, everybody. 8:30 a.m. April 17th. Welcome to my channel. Wow. ES right now is lifting off the all-time highs in futures. I just saw that President Trump, I guess, is saying they might make a uranium deal with Iran to take uranium, obviously, to not make a nuclear weapon, I guess. Insane. Pretty crazy. Crude is down to $86.50 a barrel, down 5% today. Okay. Now, there was backwardation in futures contracts, so it looks like it dropped a lot more than it did. It didn't. Just the futures. The next contract's price was lower. So when you roll it over, that's what happens. So it's not that big, but it is down 5%. So this market's, I just is really shocking me, even though I shouldn't be shocked about how the market moves, but really shocking me right now. I mean, this year was not supposed to be a positive year per se based on history. Now, the year's not over. Okay. Just really crazy. Now, yesterday, Netflix did report earnings. They beat, but gave kind of guidance that was eh. But their co founder, Hastings, is leaving. I think that's the majority of the reason why it's down. It's down 9.77% right now. Okay. Let me see what else reported. I'm right off the top of my head. I can't remember. Let me just check it out real quick. Had a little fiasco with my Ninja Trader this morning, so that's why I'm a little late. My drawings were all, for some reason, eliminated, which was fun. Um, who else reported that? There's nothing really to talk about for earnings this week. Obviously, earnings or seasons has started, so had a good trading day yesterday. I did start off with two losses again, one by news again. My second loss was news, I believe. No, my first loss was news again, which was always fun. And then I had a short that, because there was some negative news yesterday saying that this deal is not going to be done for 6 months. And I got into a short, and then I got stopped out just barely and then re-entered, and then that became a nice return. Then I got into another short later, and that became a nice return as well. So turned out to be a decent day. I think it's something like a 2 point, what was it? Let me see. 2.24R return yesterday. So pretty good. Pretty good. Let's get into it. Oh, it is OPEX today. Monthly expirations. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and final profile to find stocks in the markets. Along with supply and demand, Gamma Exposed was the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my hedge. That's how I come at game plans. Then once that market opens, I use my market internals, Anchor VWAPs, little ICT, smart money concepts. All right. My weekly expected move indicator I give for free on my Discord as well. Now, hopefully, you join me every day. Subscribe, set that alert. I give you the market news, the economic calendar, leaders and laggards. Okay. And I give you technical analysis, followed by the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and NASDAQ futures. Now, if you want to get more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That is Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Okay, there you can get my weekly expected move indicator for free. There you will get my gamma flip points, all for free, and my live commentary. Okay, so hopefully you sign up, join the community. Now, moving on, futures watch list here. Silver is leading the pack, up 2%. Dow's up 0.77. Russell up 0.78. Gold up 0.71. Bitcoin up 0.60. ES up 0.55. Nasdaq up 0.453. 30-year bonds being bought should send yields lower. Ethereum's flat. Dollar is down 0.25. 10-year yield is down 0.65. The VIX is down 1.51. We're at a 17 VIX now. Crude, like I said, recovering a little bit here. It was down earlier 5%. All right, Mag 7 Plus. Look at those. Eli Lilly up 1.78. Coinbase up 1.59. Apple's up 1.56. Tesla up 1.40. Microsoft, I saw something. They just set a record for, I think in 5 days, it's up a certain percent. I'm glad I added to that position, boy, because that was a laggard. So that's good. GE up 0.77. Let's just see. Is there any laggards? Yes, there is. AMD is beyond a meteoric rise. I believe it's at all-time highs. So it's down 1.37%. Netflix is down 9.5%. Like I said, Hastings, the co-founder, is leaving. Top sectors. Salesforce up 2.86. I saw Michael Burry took positions in software companies. Oracle, again, up 2.5%. Palantir up 1.18%. Uber up 1%. United Healthcare up 0.84. Who's lagging today? Chevron, Exxon, Energy. Okay, sectors. There you go. Technology up 1.07%. Remember, that's the largest market cap weighted sector in the S&P 500. Followed by semis, up 0.86. Industrials, up 0.69. Everything is up, folks, except energy. Energy doesn't move markets. Okay? Energy does not move markets. Okay. Moving on. Economic calendar. There's really not much to talk about today. Fed Barkin, Fed Waller. That's about it, folks. Okay, let's look at the Trump schedule. All TBDs. 11 a.m. the president participates in executive time. Trump International Hotel. Let's see, 1:30. 5 p.m. he's to deliver remarks at Turning Point USA. But that's after the market close. All right. The news I already talked about. Okay. Let's look at the juice. See, this U.S. considers 20 billion cash for uranium deal with Iran. Considers. Okay. So that's pumping markets. Let's look at some more news. Trump says Iran war should end soon. Allies to meet on Strait of Hormuz. U.S. President Donald Trump said a deal to end the war in Iran could be reached soon, although the timing remained unclear. Netflix share slide after surprise Hastings exit sparks growth concerns. Companies scramble for tariff refunds as U.S. prepares to launch claim process. Wall Street banks trade deliveries to bet on private credit stress. FAA clamps down on airline turf war at Chicago O'Hare with summer flight cap. Let's see what else is here. I mean, the markets are just moving. Look at that. The company's iPhone shipments surged 20% in China in the first quarter, the strongest growth among vendors. Interesting. GE Vernova, a Massachusetts judge on Thursday appeared open to temporarily blocking GE Vernova from abandoning work on the largest offshore wind farm in New England after the developer of the 4.5 billion Vineyard Wind project refused to pay over $300 million. The turbine supplier says it's owed. Whoa. Okay. All right. I think we're done there. Now, I think we can move on to a little internal recap. Yesterday was very middling internals. Okay. Hence why I was open to the shorts. So this is your little market internal recap. Yesterday, again, the overall market was just blah. And the market cap weight was just blah. Okay, so you had a day of just kind of a range day. Nothing in here was too strong. Nothing in here was too weak. You could see the top 4 sectors had weakness in consumer discretionary. Tesla and Amazon, and financials was a little weak. And tech overall was up. Communications overall was up. Just a mixed market. Hence the movement, right? That's your market internals. Moving on to the daily charts. Here's our daily charts. So weekly expected move. Whenever you blow through expected moves, woof, we can really go higher. Usually you stay around them, then you know it's okay. It's not gotten that much more to grow. But when you start to push really through them, the market didn't price that risk in. Ooh, you can just higher and higher. Now look, close at 701. We're at 705.17. Boy, oh boy, big gap up. And again, those are very, very hard to trade. Large gaps are hard to trade, especially all-time highs. It's just hard to trade. Okay, so huge gap up. Futures, look at this, Jesus. I mean, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Still, not one red day. That is insane. This is, remember, I told you it set the record. I think in 40, it's the fastest move in 40 years. In 11 days, it went down 10% to all-time highs. It's the fastest in 40 years. That is insane. Okay? You don't see candles like that just go boom, 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 boom. It's crazy. And now people have to get in and buy it. So that's, crazy. All right, Qs. Same thing. Big push up. Okay? Some initial weakness yesterday in the markets, but that just got bought up. Okay? Now, where are we now? 643. Not gapping up as high as now what have I been talking about? Let's get in futures. Let's just get in futures and I'll talk about what I was going to say. Okay? We are still not at all-time highs in futures. In futures, NASDAQ 100 is still not at all-time highs. But still a monster, right? Now, going to what I was talking about. Remember when I showed you the SPY? And then I showed you RSP, the equal weighted, right? And equal weighted had an okay day yesterday. But if this breadth starts to widen out and everything starts to get bought, yeah, this is going to propel this market even higher. Okay? It's a narrow breadth. However, if that starts to kick up, this equal weighted, man, it's not even close to its all-time highs, okay? So, I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, let's look at the breadth. This is the percentage of stocks over the 50-day moving average. Still middling, see? Still middling. So, the overall market, out of 500 stocks, only 50% are over their 50-day moving average. So, but remember, market cap weight moves the stock market. This is just showing us that it's not like this overall market, everything's getting bought. Okay? Moving on. Hourlies. Let me get my marker out. Okay. So there's no resistance, there's no overhead supply. Okay? So, most traded price of the week was 70.60. I think that's probably going to change today to maybe 70.77. But we'll see. Like yesterday's most traded price. Okay? But it's just at all-time highs. There's really not much to talk about here. Now look at all that consolidation. And now you're... That's how the market moves, right? Bases and trends. Bases and trends. So base trend, base trend, base trend. Okay. Let me just add a demand zone here. Okay. Not much analysis you can have here. Okay, so basically any pullbacks into these demand zones probably viable. Okay, So we got a demand zone. Jesus, look at that. Look at that. Jesus, look at that buying coming in there. Oh, unbelievable. All right, 70.95, 70.87. Then you have another demand zone that starts at 70.85. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Look at that buying. I'm looking at time and sells right now, and Jesus, insane, really insane. Now let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is still in supply, not at all-time highs yet. Let me throw that demand zone on there. Okay, into demand. I mean supply. I'm sorry. So it's not at all-time highs in futures, but if the ES keeps pushing, I mean, this is just crazy. This really is crazy. Okay. Now I know the QQQ. If you look at the daily chart, there's no overhead resistance. Probably in the overnight. If you put on the overnight extended hours, you will see it. Okay. But whoa, whoa, whoa. This market's just getting ripped. This is crazy. This is people just going, you know what? I got to get in this. This is something else. I mean, this is where, like, when the consensus starts talking about oil, and a lot of people. Now, one guy I really respect, this guy Lance Roberts that I listen to, he's always like, this could be a problem, this oil, but it might not. And if it's not, even he said it, I didn't think we would go to all-time highs like this. But you see what I'm talking about? Whenever you don't think, or you think you got to figure it out, the market does stuff that you're like, wow. Okay, now I'm in some positions, right? I bought positions on this market going down. I mean, I'm happy I did, obviously. Okay, I wish I had it more now, but who knows that this is going to happen? Okay, so poof, big gap. It's OPEX. Big gaps are very hard to trade. I would say try to lean long unless there's some negative news that comes out. That's about all you can do. That's about all you could do because this market is just going up. There's no resistance. I mean, Jesus. This is insane. Unbelievable. Any shorts left in here is getting smoked. Wow. Wow. Really crazy. This is just showing the power of longs. Unbelievable. All right. Let's move over. Move over to that market profile, volume profile here. Just the sheer craziness of this market. You got about oh my God. The yesterday's high was 70.89. We're about, let's call that 90, 43, 42 points up, gapping up, and going with no resistance in sight. I mean, there's no resistance. There's nothing here. That is insane. It's insane. I mean, there's really nothing to say other than it's insanity. Okay? Now, we are going up on very thin volume. We are 100% net long. And there probably will be some type of fade. Some short by the open. There will be. But let me tell you something. That is a tricky trade to do. All right? That is very tricky. Because look, if we keep thinning out, this is all poor structure. I still think today we don't go down unless there's a negative catalyst. If you really want the easy play, it's going to be a long. But I'm going to tell you right now, there will be a short. There will be. It's just not easy. It's gonna be, if you catch it right, it might be a nice ride. All right, so let's get into the ES scenarios here. The long and short scenarios in the ES. Let's do it. Okay, big gap. I mean, every day, big gap up, big gap up, gap up, gap. I'm like, Jesus. All right. Mark off. Now we got to mark off the halfback or the overnight 50% retracement. 7105. 7105. 50% Fibonacci right now. Gap fill, 7089. Okay. Remember, we have demand at 7095. 7095 and 7085. Okay. Now, I'm going to say it again. We are 100% net long. We opened here. We have no shorts in this overnight. They're weak hands. Okay. Buyers are in control. But you are going to get most likely an opportunity to get a short. Okay. Like I said, it's very difficult to do it. It's very difficult. Large gaps are not easy to trade. Okay. So let's just get right into scenarios because there's not going to be a ton of them right now. Okay. We're going to start off with the longs. Okay. So we are gapping up, right? So what would I like to see? Well, if you do get that short off the open and you say, hey, I want to be long, you can look to the 50% Fibonacci here of the overnights. Now, the overnight high gets taken out, it's going to change. But right now, that's the midpoint. You get a higher low and just ride that puppy to Never Never Land. Okay? Now, generally, overnight highs are never the true all-time highs. It's always usually in the real-time trading hours. It's very rare that the overnight high will be the high. Okay? Next long, you're going to do one or two things. You're going to come and pull back all the way into this demand, probably touch that gap, recover, and then you hold on. Okay? The next one is a pullback, fill the gap, but then you go into this overnight VPOC at 70.81s. Okay, find some support at yesterday's most traded price, the 70.76s, and see if you could ride that. Okay. Now this short. This doesn't come highly recommended, but it's probably going to happen. Okay. And I probably will watch it because it gets kind of crazy to get into that short. Unless something sets up where I'm like, all right, it's worth it. Okay. So we have an overnight session that we're 100% net long. We are at the top of the session. Okay. So let me break this out. I didn't do that. Okay. We're at the top of the session. So what you're going to look for is, let's say we open here and we drive higher. No, I mean, that's a little too high. We drive a little higher. Boop. Okay. One thing you can do is once we close below the open, you can short that, stop at the high, and try to ride this puppy and see what you can get. Okay? See what you can get. There might be some exuberance come off and you can try to go down to this demand. All right? It would be amazing if you could come down all the way to 70.75. Right now, that's all I got. And like I said, the easier play today will most likely be a long. There's no resistance. There's no supply. It has free reign to go higher. There's no levels up there. Okay? Can't even believe I'm talking about all-time highs. 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, what? Yeah. Okay. Now, you do have a very poor low here at 70, 74, 70, 75 area. If that was to get taken out, I would be concerned. Even 70, 60. That would concern me. Do I see that happen today? Probably not. All right. All right, let's move on. Remember, big gaps are hard to digest. Better off trading an equity. Usually, you're better off trading an individual stock. Okay. Now, let's go to the NASDAQ. Another big gap. Did it take out this supply? Let's see. It didn't take out this supply yet. So another big gap. Let's break it out. Now let's get into the NASDAQ long and short trade scenarios. We are also 100% net long in the overnights. We also have that very poor low in the overnight session. Okay. You can see the most traded price of the week is 26,480. The market cannot lose that. Okay. Now I'm not saying it will, but that's that line in the sand. Okay, if somehow something comes out where this deal's off or whatever, right? But we're putting in very thin volume, 100% net long, you're going to get a pullback. You're still in supply. Okay, so let's get into it. I am going to start with the long. Oh, first let's mark off some levels. So 50% retracement of the overnights, 26588. Gap fill, 26562. And then we have that major level of the 2684 480s here. That's the most traded price of the weekend yesterday. Can't lose that. Can't lose that. Okay. So if we start off with longs, what am I going to look for? Well, number one, yeah, we can gap and go into supply, and maybe you get that thin volume cleaned out, right back to the 50% retracement, and pull back here, push up, get a higher low, and go attack all-time highs. Okay. Now, you also could pull back, fill the gap, and tiptoe into this demand zone. Where is that demand zone, right? It starts at 26546. If you go into this demand zone and get some love, boom, you look for that higher low, and you try to ride that into the sunset. Okay. There's the longs. Now, shorts. Remember, I'm talking about this in the ES. Very difficult, but we have our edge. The overnight inventory is 100% net long, no shorts. You have thin volume and you're at the top of the session. Okay, so like I said, if the market opens here, pushes up, closes back through the open, you can short there, stop at the overnight highs or the RTH highs. Sorry. And try to ride that thin volume here down. Now we're still rising here. Okay. Try to hit that 50% retracement, which is going to change now. But okay. And then, like I said, if some kind of news catalyst comes out or all of a sudden you see profit taking, you could target the 26480s. That's the most traded price of the week. If, and this is a big if, you lose that level in the overnight lows, 26443s, and start to hold, and the market starts to get weaker, you can go down to yesterday's lows, 26286. Below that, that's some problems. Who knows? I don't know. Okay? Honestly, that's all I'm really looking at as a short right now. Maybe you get something in here, but this is so much exuberance, and everything is up right now in the market. Nothing's negative, meaning sector-wise. So be careful. Okay? That's it for me. Let me give you my overall macro look. Okay? So, we just moved the fastest in 40 years. We are at all-time highs in both QQQ and SPY. Not yet in NASDAQ futures, but now in ES futures is at all-time highs as well. Every sector is green. Okay? Except communications is flat. That's probably because of Netflix. Okay? So this is a lot of momentum. We're in a large gap, which are not easy to trade. Remember, the nasty trade, The sneaky trade is the short with the overnight inventory being 100% net long. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be able to get it. It's just very hard. The easier trade today is a long. I am not a gap and go guy. I'm not going to jump into that. However, if there's a viable pullback and the market is just so exuberant and we're going to trade through monthly expirations into the sunset and just trend up the rest of the day with no resistance in the S&P 500, that very well could be the case. Because now there's people who are like, oh my God, I got out of my positions because I thought we were going to crash. Could FOMO in. Okay. All right, that's my thesis. That's what I'm looking at today. Now, hopefully you enjoyed that. Smash the like button if you did. That'd be much appreciated. Now, hopefully you join me every morning while I give you the market story, the economic calendar, the market news, technical analysis, and I just gave you the long short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq and the ES futures. All right. Now, hopefully you join me for more in-depth coverage on my Discord. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. All right. We're getting a little pullback right now in the market. We'll see. There's thin volume there to be had. There's not structure there, meaning that if there's some momentum, you rip through it. Okay. Now, we have our plans. All right. We have our plans. I'm going to be very patient as I've been all week. All right. If the opportunity is there, you have to take it. If you think it's worth the risk, you take it based on your process. Do not jump into something because you missed it or whatever. It never goes well. Even if you get paid, you'll give that money back. Okay? So everybody, I hope has a great weekend. And if I don't see you in my Discord, I'll see you guys Monday morning.